Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to part 2 of the house buying series. Thank you so much for such a lovely response to the first video, because it honestly means the world to me that you guys are looking forward to the series, that you are excited for me, and it's so nice to hear words of advice and encouragement from other people, especially when it's someone who has gone through the house buying process and kind of knows all of the things that you should maybe think about if you are someone going through it for the first time. So that's been really lovely, kind of talking to you about it and hearing your tips and tricks. But today's video, as you can see from the title, is going to be all about saving money, because you cannot buy a house without saving money, and it is something that takes quite a while to save for, because it is the biggest financial investment you could make in your lifetime. So I thought I would sit and film a video sharing my and a few of your guys' top tips for saving money that you maybe haven't thought of. I asked on Instagram a few weeks ago what you guys thought were some really great top tips for saving money and things that you maybe hadn't considered. So not the typical things you get told, but things that are a bit more niche, and you guys pulled through. So I've used some of yours and I've added some of my own, and I've come up with a really big list. So I'm going to share them with you now. Tip number 1 is to limit your subscriptions, which sounds like a really trivial thing, and it sounds like one of the most obvious things to think of. But when I've come to really wanting to save money, I've realised just how many subscriptions I have, whether it's Netflix, Microsoft Office, Adobe for like editing software, Now TV, Hey You, Amazon Prime, all these like millions of different subscriptions, even down to like phone apps like using Shreddy or something, which is £10 a month. There's so many things that I had subscriptions to, some of which I didn't even realise I still had, and I basically went and like culled the lot. So I cancelled as many as I possibly could, and I've left myself with only the ones that I really use. So I think the only ones I've got left is Amazon Prime, because I mean, it's essential, isn't it? It's just something I use quite often. Netflix is another one that I've kept, but Netflix we're going to get onto in a minute, and Disney Plus, which I pay yearly, so it ends up being a little bit cheaper. It's so much nicer to know even the smallest amount is being saved. So I think even just from Now TV and Hey You alone is like £15–16, which when you add that up over a year is a really big amount, but it does still add up, and it's still a lot of money. Tip number 2 is kind of leading on from that, and that is to double up on your subscriptions. So for example, my Netflix account is the 4-screen one so that I can have HD, and my mum and my stepdad use it also. And when I spoke to my mum and my boyfriend recently, we realised it was way cheaper for us all to just club together, use the same Netflix, and all pay 1/3 of the price for the same thing. Because if we've got 4 screens and there's 3 households, you still have 1 extra screen, and it just means that rather than paying like £10+ a month, you're paying even less. Things like that, or Disney Plus, or any other subscriptions, see if there's anyone that you can double up with, whether that's your partner, whether that's another household, and see if you can limit the amount that you're paying. Because even if you share with one other household, it's literally halving your bill, which if you're paying for Disney Plus over a year and it's £50, that's £25 versus 50. Tip number 3 actually came from one of you guys, and it was to shop in the sales if you're going to shop at all, and then save the extra bit of money that you are saving. So say for example, you are buying something on offer, whether it's a TV or a piece of clothing or food or whatever it might be, whatever the saving comes up to on the receipt, or say, right, let's say for example, you go to Tesco's and you spend £30 on food. You've saved £5 on offers because you bought things that were 2 for 1 or whatever the case may be. That little bit of money that you've saved, put that into your savings account. So even if it's like a top that was £40 and is now £20, put that £20 into your savings account, because yes, you save money by buying that thing cheaper, but make sure that the money that you're saving is going straight into a savings account, because you will add up money so much quicker because of something like that. It honestly is the best piece of advice I got given this year. Tip number 4 is to declutter your entire house. And when I say declutter, I mean literally fine-tooth comb, go through, and anything you do not need or want, put it all in a bag or in a pile or wherever you need to put it, and sell it. It sounds really trivial, and it sounds like it will be really tedious and time consuming. It does take a while, but the reward is that you save so much more money. So I go through my house quite often. You've probably seen my decluttering playlist, and I clear through so much stuff. I honestly get rid of so much, and every time I do it, I realise all the things that I've accumulated in my life that I don't need and could go to a better home for someone to actually enjoy them and for me to get a bit of extra cash. And even if you have like 30 things that you sell and you sell them for £1 each, that's £30, but chances are you will probably sell them for a lot more money than that. The next tip is to sit on purchases for 30 days before you buy them. So anything you are thinking about buying, whether it is a new top or a bag or a candle or whatever the case may be, sit on it for 30 days before you spend the money. You will honestly probably decide you don't need that thing or you don't want that thing unless it is an absolute essential. But the amount of things where I've been like, oh my god, I really need to buy these new cushions for the sofa, or these new mugs for my house, or oh my god, I really need that new dress because it's gorgeous. And then I've sat to myself and been like, do I need to spend that, for example, £50, or would I rather it was in a savings account and I was saving towards a mortgage and I can buy the dress when I've got my house? Most of the time I end up deciding that yes, I can just wait. Tip number 6 is to make sure that you pay yourself into your savings, which is kind of an obvious one. It is something that is thought about a lot, but whenever you get paid, whether that's you're freelance and you get jobs here and there, whether you get a salary, whatever the case may be, make sure that you put a percentage of that paycheck every single time it comes in into a savings account. And then it's kind of like an extra tax, so you see it, but it comes out so quickly that you barely even notice it's there, and it stops you being able to have the chance to spend it before it's gone. Tip number 7 is to bulk buy, and this does sound crazy because you are spending more money in the first instance, but you end up saving money long term. So I recently bought, for example, a pack of Naked bars, and I bought a box of 48 bars, which works out as being I think like 12 packs or something, and I managed to buy that for £27. Had I bought those individually from the shop, they would have worked out way more expensive for the same item, and it's something I do have quite regularly. So overall, I've saved myself a bulk of money, but obviously at first it was a bit more of a blow, but it honestly works out so much cheaper in the long term just to bulk buy things, whether it's your fabric softeners or your coffee or whatever the case may be. Tip number 8 is also on the lines of food, and that is to switch up your supermarket. So I've actually been on a bit of a round trip of the supermarkets this lockdown, partially through boredom and wanting to just mix up my scenery, and partially for a bit of an experiment and seeing where I could get my food shopping for the cheapest and where it would just make the most sense to shop. So for example, near enough an identical food shop in Aldi versus in Sainsbury's, I literally halved the price. So Sainsbury's was coming up as nearly £80 and Aldi was 42. So it literally was half the price for me to shop in Aldi, and I managed to get near enough the exact same food, and it has lasted me the exact same amount of time. Tip number 9, again, is a food one. I promise this is gonna be the last food one. Make sure that when you make meals, you make too much. And by too much, I mean enough to put 1 or 2 portions in your freezer. If you already have Tupperware lying around, then great. A lot of us kind of have it stacked up from old takeaways or just various bits and pieces in the cupboard. If not, I found a really great place on Amazon which sells reusable food bags. So they fit a lot smaller in your freezer, but you can fit the same amount in them. It's just obviously a lot less bulky. And when I make meals now, because obviously I do live on my own, if I'm on my own or my boyfriend is here, then we tend to make enough meals for 4 people, just so that we can put 2 in Tupperwares and they go straight in my freezer. And then it stops me buying takeaways, and I'm not even kidding, it literally stops me from getting a takeaway, because I know that all I have to do is pop that meal in the microwave for like 3 minutes and it's done, rather than be having to stand and cook an entire meal. Tip number 10 is to make sure that you have loyalty cards. And by loyalty cards, I mean Nectar, Club Card, etc. I can't even think of any of the other ones, like Costa cards, etc. So anywhere that you spend your money, you're using a loyalty card to collect points which save you money. So for example, my Tesco's Club Card, I've ended up with 2 £2.50 vouchers recently, because my nearest petrol station is actually a Tesco's, and every time I fill up my car, I use my Club Card, and it's things that I need anyway, but it means I'm also getting some discounts. So next time I get my petrol, I get £5 off, which is such a good thing to have. And there's also a lot of different things you can have, like O2 often do rewards where you can get a free coffee in some places, you can get 2-for-1 cinema tickets when we're back to doing things like that. So you don't have to necessarily scrimp on the luxuries, but it means that you save a little bit of money when you do them. Tip number 11 is to upcycle and DIY. So obviously when you are saving money, there are still things that you want to change about your house and still things that you want to do. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed this lockdown is making my own like pottery and painting and upcycling things in my house. So pottery, you can buy a hunk of clay for literally £10. It's like 12 kilos, it's massive. And rather than me buying from H&M or Zara Home, I've been making them myself, and buying that huge hunk of clay for £10 has ended up meaning that I'm making like 5 or 6 different pots and still have loads left that would have originally cost me like £40 or £50 per pot. So I'm still getting the cute home decor, but I'm also saving some money in the process, and also doing something that is really therapeutic and really relaxing, because doing things like pottery is a great way to, for one, have a good night in with your friends when we're out of lockdown, or your partner. It's a really nice little task to just like chill together, have a glass of wine and just like relax. or just something to do on your own that's a little bit of fun. And on the upcycling side of things, I've actually been really enjoying repainting and redoing different things around my house. So for example, I had some gold frames and I've wanted to put them back on my wall, but gold just isn't part of my aesthetic. So I've actually found some tester pots. So I actually found some tester pots in B&M Home for £1, bought one of those, and I've been painting up the frames in a really nice neutral shade so they match my decor, and I've spent £1 getting new frames rather than spending however much it would have cost me to replace all of them. Tip number 12 is to open a Plum account, and Plum is one that was very highly recommended by you guys when I asked on Instagram. Plum is basically a money saving app where it opens a bank account for you through Plum and basically saves money for you. So whenever you spend money online or use your card kind of anywhere, if you spend, say for example, £2.80 in Starbucks, the extra 20p they will basically save for you. So it comes out of your account, you barely even notice it, and it's put straight into a savings account, which is a really handy way of saving money without realising you're saving money. So even little things like my Netflix is £11.99. It comes out of my account, but obviously everyone pays me. So it will just round it up by that 1p to £12. And even those little 1p's every now and then, they add up. But another great thing about Plum is actually that you can set it so it takes small amounts out of your account every now and then, and it uses an algorithm to work out how much it can take without affecting your life and your balance in your bank. So I've actually set mine to the maximum, but you can set it to a few different levels, and it will basically just take out little bits of money here and there. You barely even notice, and obviously it does come up on your statement as Plum so you can see it, but it just means that you're getting little bits of money pocketed that you don't even notice. And within 2 months of having it, I've already saved £40. I've actually popped a link to the download down below so you can download it if you're interested. And tip number 13, which is going to be the final tip in this video, is to cancel your gym membership. Because let me tell you, if you are going not enough to justify the price of that gym membership, there's no point keeping it. But also, we've been in lockdown so much this year, there is literally no point having it because we're just throwing money into the wind. And personally, I've started doing home workouts this year and I really enjoy them. Whether I grab my running trainers and I just go off on a run around the block, or I literally just do a workout on my living room floor and watch a free YouTube video, whatever it is, it's just been so much more enjoyable. And honestly, I don't miss the gym that much. And last lockdown, I actually managed to buy a set of weights. So I think I got, in total, I think it's 20 kilograms worth of weight, and then you basically put them on the different dumbbells, and then there's also a barbell attachment. So I've essentially got a barbell, 2 dumbbells that can be up to 20 kilograms for £50, which is the price of my gym membership for 2 months. Kind of a no-brainer when the weights can be in my house forever. It's saving a lot of money in the long run, and there is so many great people on YouTube that you can follow. I personally love the Heather Robertson 12-week program, but there's also Sydney Cummings who does great cardio. Chloe Ting does great like set series, and they are honestly so great that I just don't think you need a gym ever again. But that is the end of today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed part 2 of my house buying series. There will be another update coming soon, sharing where I'm at and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of waiting for more updates to be able to give you a big video on it, but I think they're going to be kind of every month or 2. If you've got any other tips I haven't mentioned, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.